Hey ESPN, I'm Jack.
And I'm Miles from the Daily Zeitgeist, a daily comedic news podcast that answers the question,
what if Stephen A. Smith spoke at a normal volume and his opinions were based on fact and not completely insane? This probably isn't the best way to describe this.
No, you just negated the two things Stephen A. Smith is known for.
Okay, what if The Daily Show was hosted by us?
Yes, but who is us?
Okay, I'm Jack. I'm the co-founder of Crack.com.
And I'm Miles. I love soccer and get very nervous when I'm pulled over by the police.
He's also a former lobbyist who quit politics for comedy.
Yeah. Well, look, we covered news, the president, pop culture, and we're both very big sports fans.
I'm actually named after my grandfather, legendary NBA coach and ESPN alum Dr. Jack Ramsey.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm named after Miles Davis, the legendary heroin addict who is not my grandfather.
So search the Daily Zeitgeist. If you don't know how to spell zeitgeist, like most of us, just type in Daily Z. It'll figure it out for you. On Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are given away for free.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, Del?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the code check-in.
And we are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. What do we do, Jalen?
We get the people what they want.
The people wanted drama on Oscar night, and the people got drama on Oscar night. For those that stayed awake for the 7-hour production, got a little treat at the end when Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway gave Best Picture to the wrong movie. What? Is Steve Harvey the happiest man in Hollywood right now?
I follow him on Twitter, and he woke up today like, woo.
He's so happy.
He was trending just because it wasn't him this time. And the great thing about it is mistakes take place at award shows. They have so many moving parts. You try to keep everything confidential, but you try to have everybody as prepared as possible. They got handed the wrong envelope. It happens. The envelope was read. It was rectified. Of course, some feelings get hurt and some emotions get spread because you feel like you won. Hey, enthusiasm is in the building. La La Land. We screaming all the way up to the podium. La 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 La.
Dancing.
La 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 La.
Here's the thing. When they come out and tell me that I didn't really win, I'm not giving the trophy back. You already handed me a trophy. That trophy is in my hands. Like, you are going to have to assault me to get me to separate from this Oscar. I've been dreaming about this my whole life. You handed it to me. It's not my fault that you gave me the trophy. You're not getting it back. You can make new trophies for everyone they worked on Moonlight, but I'm keeping this trophy. It's as simple as that. Are you giving the trophy back?
So here's a different premise. If I'm Reggie Bush and I'm making millions of dollars and people still going to acknowledge me as the Heisman Trophy winner, I'm not giving it back.
Nope.
Because y'all not doing nothing to come get it anyway.
Nope. Yeah, did you?
It doesn't change what happened in any way, shape, or form. Not the score of the games, not what you're accusing me of, whatever.
Nope.
In this case, there has to be some level of class exuded because you hope to win one in the future. You go up there and you misbehaving like David Jacoby, you probably will never win one.
I'm showing no class. I'm using that thing to defend myself with if someone tries to take it from me for real. Outside of the Oscars, a lot happened this weekend. Not necessarily on the basketball court, but around it in the NBA. Deron Williams is going to join the Cleveland Cavaliers. That was sort of expected. Now there are rumors and reports of joining the Cleveland Cavaliers. Former Warrior Andrew Bogut. What does this tell you about the impending Warriors-Cavs NBA Finals?
That David Griffin's doing a really good job with the Cleveland Cavaliers roster and proving it consistently. They've added Kyle Korver as well to go with the two gentlemen that you mentioned that's going to join the team. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden, they become the favorite, clearly, to win the NBA championship. And here's the distinguishing factor in my mind. Look at the multiple players they have that can play quality minutes at the 4 or 5 position. You can start the game with Love and Tristan Thompson. You can come in with Channing Frye. Also Bogut can play minutes up front.
Gentleman named LeBron James.
And then LeBron James in small ball lineups as well. When you look at the Golden State Warriors, who I think is going to be their opponent, yes, they're going to finish games with Kevin Durant and Draymond Green with their vaunted death lineup, but they still need quality minutes from a third big. that has to be Zaza Pachulia, JaVale McGee, David West. And so they not only take a major step down from all-star caliber performers to players you don't know what you're going to get from, James Michael McAdoo. This now gives the Cleveland Cavaliers more height, more size, more bulk, more fouls, more versatility. This now puts them in pole position to me to win the NBA championship.
So it also gives them a lot more age. You've got Williams, Bogut, LeBron, they're all 32. Fry is 33. Korver's 35. And then you've got RJ and James Jones, who are each 67 years old. Is that a concern as you head into the deep into the playoffs that they might start breaking down?
Age will not be a factor for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Other than LeBron James, those are reserves, players that are called upon to play spot duty. They're going to be used situationally. Their age will not be a factor.
Okay, that's fair. We spoke a lot about the Twitter finger beef between JaVale McGee and Shaquille O'Neal. Now the mothers have gotten involved. As if it didn't go far enough when there was physical threats. Now the mothers have gotten involved. It's been reported that Lucille O'Neal reached out to her son Shaquille and said, you know what, you've gone too far. It's time for this to end. Do you think it was his mother or perhaps, I don't know, his employers that have really killed this beef?
So I want to teach athletes something about the media. And I learned this a long time ago. Usually they only pick on players that they think won't clap back. And or players that they think that they need or players that they have their phone number currently, they won't really go hard on them the way they should. They're not as unbiased usually as you think the media should be. So you're going to see a lot of media members defending Shaquille O'Neal's actions. He works in the media for Turner Network Sports. It's not for him to engage in physical threats versus an athlete. What about if the NBA Finals happens, the Golden State Warriors are there, and he's there with NBA TV, and JaVale McGee confronts him? That's not something the league wants, clearly something the networks want. This is why you can never get between somebody and their mama. And I'm a mama's boy. I love Shaq's mom. I love JaVale's mom, Pam. Okay? Those are two strong, outspoken, disciplined women that raised sons that made it to the NBA and doing a really good job of taking care of themselves and doing the best job they can of taking care of them families. Their dream come true. But what ends up happening is groupie fans and or media members are going to take side of the person that it's the most accomplished. So it's like, forget JaVale McGee's feelings. Shaq's a 4-time champion. He's a Hall of Famer. He can say whatever he want to say. In this case, no, he can't. No. And here's what took place in my opinion. And I could be wrong.
Probably not, though.
When the Golden State Warriors reach out to Turner, you know who Turner reached out to? Shaq. Mm-hmm. And they tell him, this Thursday on Wax, we hope you're ready to apologize because it's not a good look. And so Shaq, being the person that's media savvy, as successful on the floor as off the floor as some of the all-time greats, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, he knows how to play the violin for public sentiment. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know what? I'm too big to apologize on my own. I wouldn't do something like that. Mom made me do it.
Always listen to mom. You know, it's like, oh, it wasn't
Mom,
my bosses.
You're right.
My bosses didn't bring me into the office and tell me that I was acting out of pocket.
You know
it
what?
was my mom. I'm just a mama's boy. That's me.
You know,
just listen to my moms.
You know, the league office didn't reach out to Turner,
no,
and Golden State didn't reach out to Turner. It doesn't happen that way.
It doesn't work
I'm
like
going
that.
to do it because mom told me to. Either way it goes, the bottom line is this. A line was crossed. When you have a microphone and a camera, it's not our job to use this as a bully pulpit. We're here to analyze, not antagonize. And it never should get personal. When you're sending tweets at 4 a.m, it's clearly that. I understand that it did go too far, and it will be squashed this Thursday on Wax, in my opinion.
Jalen, you know I'm a Die Easy Knicks fan, so I've been paying close attention to the dumpster fire that is the New York Knicks this season. You don't need me to tell you all the things that have happened, but the flames are just rising higher with news that not only is Joakim Noah out for the season, who has $55 million and 3 more years on his contract. Brandon Jennings has just been waived.
What?
So Phil Jackson, who signed Courtney Lee, Joakim Noah, Brandon Jennings, and Derrick Rose this year, has tried to trade Derrick Rose. They waived Brandon Jennings, and now Joakim Noah is not going to play anymore, and Courtney Lee tried to dunk on LeBron James. This is just a mess. Now, is it admitting failure when you waive Brandon Jennings to bring in a prospect?
It is, because as the president of basketball operations, you hope if you sign a person in the offseason, they can at least make it through one full basketball schedule. And so when that doesn't happen, you admit failure. But here's the thing I want to acknowledge. And I know in this case, the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to benefit because they're going to be able to sign Deron Williams and Andrew Bogut. Mm-hmm. I don't like this buying out players late in the year and allowing them to join contending teams.
It's interesting.
It skews the balance of power. It's something that you see coming as a player. You see it coming as somebody that follows the games. And the teams won't do those trades with one another because we know you're going to buy them out late in the year to try to save a couple of dollars. I don't like things that influence the balance of power. I remember the Boston Celtics were a team that came to mind that did that a long time ago when they signed P.J. Brown and Sam Cassell later in the year, and they benefited and they went on to win the championship. But I'm just not a fan of that. I do think something the league is going to have to do to address that.
I think the league is going to do something to address it, too. And you'll never believe this other report, Jalen. Brandon Jennings, interested in joining a contender. What? Who would have thought? He doesn't want to go to a lottery team. He wants to go to a contender. And then you have these contenders, the Cavs and the Warriors are also looking for somebody that just kind of pop up. And if you put yourself in the shoes of Brandon Jennings, this is great for him. You're playing for the Knicks. There's this Charles Oakley drama. Carmelo Anthony's going to be traded, and then he's not. And Phil Jackson's tweeting about him. And next thing you know, you say, you guys, just waive me. Just do me the favor, and then you could find yourself in the playoffs playing in front of packed houses on contending teams. I think that the league will do something to change this.
I've been bought out by the Knicks, and I tried to join the Phoenix Suns for that exact reason. It didn't work out, but I still am not a fan of it in any way, shape, or form.
A move that was made at the trade deadline right before it was a gentleman by the name of DeMarcus Cousins, who's also known as... was traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, at that time, 8th seed, the matchup between the Pelicans and the Warriors, they're definitely going to be in the 8th seed, just overlooking not just the Trailblazers ahead of them, but the Denver Nuggets, who got a lot better ahead of them. Since adding Boogie, the Pelicans have won 0 games and lost 3. Is this a concern for Pelicans fans and people involved in the franchise?
I don't think so, because when you make a move like that for DeMarcus Cousins to pair him with Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday's in the backcourt, you deplete your team in a lot of ways. In particular, the shooting guard and small forward spot. And in their previous games, they've gotten little production out of those 2 spots. You do a move like that to entice people to, A, come want to play with them, B, give them the opportunity to be anchors for your franchise and build moving forward. So I won't be surprised, as you and I have discussed on this program, if they're on the outside looking as the playoffs happen, because the Nuggets added Plumlee. They also have Jokic, who's playing terrific basketball. We both believe that they're the team that's going to hold down the 8th spot.
And let's not forget my nickname for that tandem, the Birch Brothers. Remember where you heard it first, brothers. The Birch Brothers in Denver.
I like that a lot.
And I think that they will be in the 8th seed.
Let me know when you want me to take it mainstream for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can steal that one right now. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's fine. But I do think that you're right. This is a long-term play if you're the Pelicans. This is not a win now. We're going to get to the finals in the Western Conference sort of a thing. This is like let's get through this season. Let's integrate Boogie and then add some more pieces in the offseason.
What about Vlade Divac doing the Jim Buss saying if they don't be in a better position 2 years from now, he's going to step down? He might as well start stepping right now.
I love it.
He might as well R. Kelly, step in the name of love. Step in the name of love.
How could they be in a worse position? You know what I mean? If you look at their roster right now, it's like, hey, if we're not in a better position in 2 years, it's like, I think we bottomed out.
We did it
if
for
this
love,
isn't the bottom,
yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Did it
R.
for
Kelly,
love,
Divac.
yeah.
There was a chicken or egg thing when Boogie left, though. It was like, oh, wait, is Boogie getting all these technicals and acting this way because he's in this disastrous franchise environment, or is this a disastrous franchise environment because Boogie is acting this way and getting these technicals? Well, Boogie has gotten a couple techs since joining the Pelicans. What do you think about him getting his 18th with a little dust up with Steven Adams 40 seconds into the game?
I think the league's going to rescind that technical foul.
I think so, too.
Because it wasn't something that was him disagreeing with the officials or being belligerent out on the floor. It's just two 6'11", 7-foot guys getting their arms wrapped up and freeing one of the guys freeing himself from the other. So it'll be broken news if you follow this program closely when the rest of the world finds out that that's going to get rescinded.
And if you follow basketball closely, you know that Steven Adams is often involved in these things, and it's because he does little things like this. Just 40 seconds into the game, Boogie has the ball cuffed under his arm, and Steven Adams, in a dead ball environment, just reaches to knock it out of his hand. And anyone who's played basketball knows you just don't let somebody do that. And of course, it turns into a little thing that turns into a tech that is or will be rescinded by the league shortly. Now we've got this news. Joel Embiid. He's not just out for a little while, he's now out indefinitely. Here's the thing. I'm going to just throw a little bit water on the Joel Embiid party. We all love the tweets. We all love those 25 games that he played in. But if now you're starting to look at this, at the full body of work that Joel Embiid has put in while he's been in the NBA, he spent a lot more time hurt than he has playing. And while he has spent time hurt, he hasn't exactly shown, I don't know, the best workout regimen to get back. Are you concerned about Joel Embiid long term, even though he has been so good when he plays?
I am, because he's so young, so talented, so athletic, so gifted. So many things that he can contribute to a basketball team. Shoot the three, score on the post, turn over both shoulders, really good passer, great defender, is active, has a magnetic personality.
Great
You've
Twitter
seen
fingers.
him lift the fan base in Philly and basically put that situation on his back. But when you've had the amount of injuries that he's had so far in his young career, you can't help but wonder about his longevity. I hope that isn't the case, but man, it's really sad to see a young player that has shown so much promise that just can't stay healthy.
Yep. The Bronx's own. You're wearing a Bronx Tale shirt. The Bronx's own Remy Ma released a 6-minute diss track about Nicki Minaj titled shETHER as a nod towards Nas's Ether. It went all the way there. Anything you could possibly think of negative about Nicki Minaj that you know I can't say on this program, she said. It was 6 minutes long. Nicki Minaj posted on Instagram basically saying she doesn't sell albums and I do. What does Nicki do now? Does she have to respond? And if she does, how does she respond?
She have to respond, will respond, and as long as it stays on wax, which I think it will, it's always good for the sport. It's competition. I know I have an athletic background, and I talk all of the time about players fraternizing too much. A lot of times what fans deem is not necessarily living and dying by the outcome of each play, each quarter, each game, each season. So when you have two MCs, in this case, Remy Ma and Nicki Minaj, that's what the basis of hip-hop was built off of, battle rapping. So I look forward to Nicki Minaj's response, and it's good theater for fans. Just like I was excited about Just Blaze and Swiss Beats going back and forth on IG. Like, I love this stuff. It gets me excited about being a fan of rap.
I just want to give Nicki Minaj one hint because I know that she watches this program and she's just thinking, I need David Jacoby to give me some advice as what to do right now. So here you are, Ms. Minaj. Jay-Z responded to Ether with a little-known track called Super Ugly. And it was like, he rushed it out too fast, it didn't really have the impact, and no one remembers it. All anyone remembers is Takeover and Ether. Here's what you need to do, Nicki. Come out with your own Super Ugly as a reference to Jay-Z's original response. Chrissy Teigen appeared to fall asleep during the Oscars. Now, the Oscars are boring, and the Oscars are long. My question for you, Jalen Rose. There you are in a tux. Can you stay awake for the entire 4 hours and 30 minutes that the Oscars telecast is on for?
4 hours and 30, yes. But you mentioned 7 hours, no.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though. I know we love couples, all types and celebrity couples in particular, but I'm a huge fan of John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. And here's the thing. She's a celebrity in her own right. She's a wife and a mother.
Mm-hmm.
She was indoors. I'm pretty sure the air condition was on.
They just had a kid.
The seats was comfortable.
Yeah.
It almost is like me in the movie theater. It lends somebody to fall asleep.
I completely understand. I also want to take a moment to recognize our colleagues and Ezra Endelman, Connor Schell, Libby Geist, Deirdre Fenton, and everyone at ESPN Films for winning an Oscar. ESPN won an Oscar, Jalen Rose. And you know me, I'll take credit for anything. You and I went to a screening. That means that we also won an Oscar, right? Like we've supported the film in some sort of way, right?
I'm happy for all of them as friends and as colleagues. And it's not a situation where we're just jumping on the bandwagon. We were there at the initial viewing of the OJ documentary.
We basically made the movie.
We were excited about it.
Yeah.
We gave great reviews, knew the public will be enthusiastic about it, and I was so happy to see them take home the much-deserved award. I'm looking forward to more projects from Ezra.
You know what I'm looking forward to? The return of Tim Tebow stories to Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
Is this
Tim
sports football
Tebow is
news?
back. Tim Tebow is back. Tim Tebow's going to report to some sort of like minor league spring training for the New York Mets. We're going to get all sort of Tim Tebow news. So make sure you stay tuned to Jalen and Jacoby for the latest.
He gonna be
in Tim Tebow
I already know what's gonna
baseball
happen.
news.
I already know what's gonna
I know
happen.
what's going to happen. He's going to win the MVP and the Mets going to win the World Series. That's what's going to happen. He's Tim Tebow.
Here-
All he does is win. Ask Skip.
Here's what's going to happen.
He's going to win?
Tim Tebow is going to be the person that sets batting practice on fire. That's what's going to happen. He's going to have, just like Steph Curry gets to the games early and he's out there doing his dribbling skills, but the difference is he can actually go and do that in the game. Tim Tebow is going to be the person that they use to get everybody at the game, get all of the media there, because they so in love with Tebow. And then when the game starts, where is he? Where is he?
Oh, I'm sorry. He's in the stands saving lives. That's what he's doing, Jalen Rose, saving lives in the stands.
I'm going to get more intentional walks than Tim Tebow.
Yep. Jalen Rose, you know we're not on the radio today. We're doing a television and podcast only, but we always like to give our podcast listeners something to step to. We're not just going to give them 22 minutes if they're used to getting more. So what we do is we're going to open up our voicemail line and our 1-800-FLOWERS Twitter feed and take questions from you because we're trying to give the people what they want. You call 985-80-JALEN, leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on the show like this one.
What up, Jalen? What up, Jacoby? This is Andrew from Cincinnati, Ohio. First of all, love you guys so much. Second of all, my question today is about the Cavs acquiring Deron Williams and super teams. And do you think that the NBA may ever take steps to avoid super teams, such as lowering the hard cap, maybe trying to spread the wealth among different NBA teams, either through a league expansion or something that players and fans have been begging for, which is minimizing the amount of games played in a season. So I'm really curious your thoughts and statements that you might have to say about that. Get back at me.
Thank you for the call. We appreciate the love and the support. I almost felt like Chrissy Teigen on that call.
I
had to
like
get
how he
that
started,
one
though.
in.
We started, he was like, I love you so much. I was in right there. I was like, all right, Andrew's my guy. Andrew's my guy.
So
Here's
a couple of things. Andrew, not shortening the season. That gets into everybody's pockets. That is not an option.
Nope.
Not expanding teams. Andrew, that is not an option.
Nope.
The NBA has already taken a major step to entice free agents to stay with the team that drafted them.
Ask
Look
Boogie.
no further than what happened with Kevin Durant. If he was trying to leave OKC this summer to go to Golden State, it would cost him $30 million to make that decision.
Lord, that's a lot of money.
I know Boogie Cousins loved playing in Sacramento, but if I was him, I would hate losing that $30 million.
Yep.
Because they traded him, as opposed to allowing him the opportunity to re-sign an extension and then force a trade, like I probably would have done if I was him.
Andrew, thank you so much for the call. I just want you to know I love you too. Like real Mary J. Blige love. Andrew in Cincinnati. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
What up, though? Jalen and Jacoby. This is LJ from Houston. First of all, I want to shout out Reggie Hooks, your music producer. He plays all the music from the South. Dead Prez, Lil Brother, Devin. I just want to shout out Reggie Hooks, the best producer on podcasts. Now, my question is this. Jalen, now that Lou Williams is on the Rockets, do you think that we have a real puncher's chance to make Golden State nervous if we make it to the Western Conference Finals? And also, do you think Jay-Z and Beyonce is the best power couple ever? Those are my questions. Keep getting them checks, fellas.
Oh, a couple things. Number one, we're going to edit out that part about Reggie, right?
Not at all.
We're going to edit that, right?
Big shout to Inkster.
Reggie's
What
the guy
up,
that does the
Dave?
editing. Yeah, Reggie's going to put effects on it, make it loud, put a beat behind it. All right, well, first of all, I want to thank Reggie's cousin for calling in from Houston. I think that's really sweet of him. And secondly, I do want to say the question specifically is that enough to make the Warriors nervous? And I would say before the trade, it was enough to make the Warriors nervous. The Warriors would be nervous facing any one of the top 4 teams in the Western Conference. However, is it enough to get past the Warriors? I don't know.
So here's something that the league is going to have to address. They've done something to address all-star level, maximum caliber players in particular leaving a team to join another team because you'll take about a $30 million haircut. See KD, OKC, Golden State versus Boogie and the Pelicans. 2 other things they need to address that I'm not a fan of. Buying out players late in the season. It clearly affects the balance of power. You're seeing it right now with the Cavs as they add Deron Williams and Bogut. And the other thing the league needs to address is teams making trades so they can lose in order to protect their draft status, like the Lakers did by basically giving away Lou Williams, who had 27 points in his first game with the Rockets, affecting the balance of power, a 3-point shooting team with their leading scorer by trading him because they want to lose basketball games.
Jalen, your hair looks great, and it always does. And you said something earlier that led to a question. Based on how much I know you pay for your haircut and how often you get it cut, do you actually have a $30 million haircut?
No, I have a $100 haircut.
Okay. Next, we're going to Twitter. Jake hit us up. Jacob wants to know, after
I like
last
what you
night,
did there, though.
what are the chances Adam Silver will be the wrong name for the number 1 pick at this year's draft?
Never, ever, 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 ever.
So about the envelope thing is, there are these 2 people for PricewaterhouseCoopers, and they really just, they don't have to be that organized about that much. They literally just have to be there and make sure people get the right envelopes. That's all. That's all they have to do. Some tells me they'll be replaced.
And you don't do that to Bonnie and Clyde, too.
I know.
That's the other thing. I know I'm showing my age with that reference.
No. Oh, I'm with you. I know the reference. But here's one thing I want to point out. Is Warren looked down at the envelope, knew it was a mistake, and was basically like,
I'll pass it, I'll pass it back.
Yeah, he passed it with 1 second left on the shot clock. He gave Faye Dunaway the ball 40 feet from the basket. Like, here you go. It wasn't me. Don't blame me.
He did the magic no-look pass, had one leg in the air and everything.
Here you go, Faye. Next is from Big Gio. He says, okay, I know the Magic are way out of the playoffs, but what do you think about the current roster? Who stays and who goes? Give the people what they want.
When you look at a team that's trying to build through the draft, the first thing you got to say is which one of these guys could become an all-star. And when you look at the Lakers, when you look at the Magic, I can't find that player just yet.
It felt like Fournier like 2 years ago, but he hasn't necessarily kept up the same production. It feels like
that's an easy way as a fan you can follow the progress of your team.
But like Vucevic doesn't look like he's going to turn into an all-star, and you're looking up and down the roster, and Aaron Gordon, and you're like, I don't really know. So that is a good point. Obviously, the Lakers have a few players that I can see turning into an all-star, more so than the Magic. They also have Magic Johnson. Pun joke. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? My name is Israel. I'm from Austin, Texas. And I have a question for both of y'all. In a purely cosmetic sense, when you go up for a shot, would you like your hands to light on fire, which will then set the ball on fire? When you shoot the ball, it streaks through the sky, and then when you swish it, the hoop erupts? Or would you like the inverse of that? Your hands freeze, the ball freezes, streaks through the air, frozen streak, and when you J it, the whole rim freezes. Keep giving them checks. Keep giving the people what they want. Love you guys. Take care.
I love that
This
question.
is the best question we've ever gotten. Can we hire him as a producer? Reggie, you're fired. Let's get Israel from Austin in there. What? This is the best question I've ever heard. But it really leads me, if you want me to take this seriously, I'm going to take it seriously. It leads me to worry about what happens after I make the first shot. If the hoop erupts or freezes, does then it immediately sort of like replace itself back like a salamander to its original state so I can score on it again? That's my question.
I would deem yes.
So if the question is yes, and I can't choose both because I'd love to be able to turn that on and off, I'm going to have to go with ice because fire just seems a little bit too obvious. We all played NBA jams. We've seen this sort of thing before. But I'm going to be rolling in there like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Batman, hitting my jumpers. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Yo, what up? It's Minus caller from Texas. My question to you guys is this. Do you think the NBA should go to a more consistent schedule, kind of like the NFL, where they either play like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or like Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday? I think that'll help out a lot. Also, I love the fact that when I hear you guys talk, it sounds like casual conversation between two guys, unlike a lot of the other shows where it sounds scripted and they want to, every debate sounds like a presentation, who can use the biggest word. But anyway, keep giving the people one, keep getting those checks.
Thanks for the love.
I love a nice, good, solid, backhanded compliment. You know what I mean? He's like, all those other shows, it seems like they prepare ahead of time and they script their answers and they do research and use big words. But you guys just seem like you're having a conversation between two guys.
And I'll pull you behind the curtain, and I'm pretty sure the caller would appreciate this. It's because we don't prepare. We're not smart enough to use big words.
Yeah.
We don't have the time to go over topics.
Of course not.
No. We just believe that each other's following what's going on in sports because that's what we do for a living. And while a lot of people try to force that we're going to make sure we have the barbershop talk. Yeah, we're going to sit in barber chairs and we're really going to do this. Well, we've actually made it happen, so we appreciate that.
Thanks so much for the call, Minus.
You going to answer his question?
What, about the scheduling of the NBA? Here's the thing is I know too much. I'm a television producer. Yeah, it would be like cleaner and simpler if there were only games on certain days, but just follow the money. And when you say it would be better, it might be better for your personal life, Minus, but it would bring less money into the television networks that pay so much money to the NBA. If you think that you have put as much time into maximizing the number of eyeballs that are on NBA games as the hundreds of people that get paid to analyze spreadsheets and ratings to do exactly that, then you're just a little misguided. Not you personally, Minus. I'm just saying like people that want to fix it. Because you know how it works. They have hundreds of intelligent people maximizing the ratings and the advertising dollars and the money that goes back to the NBA.
Nothing moves but the money. Look at the NFL. Early on Sunday, it's basically Sunday ticket. Sunday night, NBC gets a check. ESPN gives a check. Thursday night, NFL Network. Free money. We own the network. Look at the NBA.
Oh, we'll make Twitter pay for our Thursday night too. Cool.
NBA. Turner now has a Monday. NBA TV has a Tuesday.
ESPN has a Saturday.
ESPN has a Wednesday.
ESPN
Turner has a Thursday.
Yeah.
ESPN has a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
But as someone who does pay a lot of special attention to the NBA schedule, Wednesday nights are the busiest weeknights. So like a Wednesday night is always a nice league pass night. So sometimes if my wife says she wants to go out to dinner, I'm like, how about Thursday? We got another Twitter question here. This is brilliant. This is from Dirty Socks. Dirty Socks wants to know this from you, Jalen. Would you rather spend a day in the deep sea or deep space?
Deep space. I ain't trying to be underwater.
I'm going deep sea on that one. Deep sea just seems a little bit more...
I'm good.
Deep sea just seems more exciting, more adventurous, more things happening. Space is just... It's exactly that. Like, they called space for that reason because it's just space. Like, there's
I'll give you my
there.
reasoning. Here's my reasoning.
What's that?
I fly a lot, and I fall asleep before the plane takes off. So whether I'm 30,000 feet or 300,000 feet, it really won't matter.
Jalen won't notice.
Won't even matter. Now, you try putting me in some water? No, we got to talk about this.
We got this one from Matt Henson's coat. I appreciate his coat writing in. Jalen, the Lions win the Super Bowl or they put a Fab Five statue up at Ann Arbor. Pick one.
Oh, Lions win the Super Bowl.
What? Jalen, I'm shocked and disappointed by that answer. And let me tell you, the Lions win the Super Bowl, you're going to be alive on this planet for another 50 years, right? There's going to be 50 opportunities that the Lions have to just do something that so many other franchises have done. That could happen without you sort of like having to influence it. But the Fab Five statue, the statue of you guys in Ann Arbor will be there until the kangaroo apocalypse. Are you sure about that answer?
So somebody has to make the decision for that to actually happen. Lions win the Super Bowl.
Let's listen to one more voicemail.
Hey, Jalen and Jacoby. I'm Tyler from Chicago. I'm a senior in high school, and I'm attending University of Michigan next year. So I was wondering, Jalen, what are your favorite memories from being a student-athlete at University of Michigan? Thanks, guys.
My favorite memories, besides I had a terrific coach in Steve Fisher, Perry Watson, who was also my high school coach, Brian Dutcher, so many people that were really influential in teaching me not only the game, but how to be a young man, and consider doing my major as radio, TV, film, which now obviously benefits me in so many different ways. Being a part of the Fab Five Brotherhood, which legacy still lives to this day. Having so many people that are now 20 plus years of age named Jalen, regardless of how it's spelled, is one of the most humbling things ever. And the fans and support. When I'm out and about anywhere, there's never a time where I don't see an alum, a fan, or supporter of the University of Michigan. And just to say go blue is like to say what up, though, for a native Detroiter. It's something that it's unique and it's special, and I'm glad to be a part of the family.
Yep. Tyler, here's a quick hint. Buy all your books. Put all those books in your dorm room. Take the receipt and the bag back. Fill up the bag with the exact same books. The alarm goes off while you're leaving the bookstore. You pull out the receipt. Looks like you just bought them. Just a little hint, Tyler. Save you about $1,000 at college. We have one more voicemail.
Jalen and Jacoby. This is Sam from Brooklyn. I've been listening to the podcast for 5 years, all the way back from the beginning. What up, doe? Keep getting them checks. I got a question for you. I went out with my wife the other night. We went out for dinner, had a babysitter. All in total, it was 2 hours. I get back, and my wife tells me that the babysitting hour rate became, I don't know when this happened, became $20 an hour. $20 an hour! That's $40 just for 2 hours of a babysitter. When did this happen? Am I allowed to shortchange a babysitter because I think it's not worth the time? My kids are sleeping. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts. I guess this question's really for Jacoby, unless Jalen has some experience in the past. But I would love to hear what you got to say. Have a good one.
A couple things, Sam. I really appreciate the call. Two things that I'm going to do. First,
that fee is nothing.
I'm going to tell you to get a new babysitter, okay? Because
what?
And two, I'm going to put up an ad on care.com. If you're getting $20 an hour, I need this my side hustle. Forget driving an Uber.
That's a bargain.
I'm going to get a $20 an hour babysitter. Trust me, I'm in the market, Jalen. I'm in the market.
That's one adult beverage.
People taking care of 3 kids for less than $20.
Man, that's an adult. That's an appetizer.
Jalen, you're a millionaire. You're not in this conversation. Sam, I got you. Get a new babysitter. Thank you so much for listening, especially those listening to the podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with a full show.